Hello, in this video I will discuss about the damage reduction stats. Damage reduction stats were introduced with the weapon system and we can get them through gold and red weapons, of course in different amounts. From some red weapons we can reach up to 8%, in premium red weapons we can reach up to 8.8%, while in gold weapons we can reach only up to 6.4%. As I said in my video about the weapon system, I consider it the second best attribute that we can get from weapons, after base attack of course, with huge difference than the rest of the stats that we can get. In this video I will discuss why is that. As I have discussed in other videos, the damage that your troops actually deal to the enemy troops is calculated based on your troops' base attack, that of course you can increase through weapons too, multiplied by the stats that you have plus 1 that represents the base damage that the troops do. So after applying the reduction from the weapons, the new damage is calculated by just reducing this specific percentage from the damage dealt. So if we actually replace in this equation the damage from the way it is calculated, we can see that the percentage of the reduction can be directly seen as a reduction of the enemy stats or a reduction on the enemy base attack. So let's try to compare with both to see how much it works. Let's first go to the base attack. Most T4 troops have around 100 or more base attack, which of course can be increased with the base attack that your enemy has in his weapons. Because it is around 100, 1% damage reduction decreases enemy base attack by around 1% or even a bit more, depending on the base attack of the enemy troops. As we can understand, this is huge if we can reach around like 20% enemy damage reduction. With the viewpoint of how much it reduces the enemy stats, if we take into account that most players have around 2000 to 2500% attack, if we combine the total attack and the troop specific attack, 1% reduction is 20 to 25% stats. So for every 1% you have, the enemy stats are decreased by 20 to 25%. Which we can see is huge, even if we take into account, for example, the enemy attack reduction stats that we can get from the refinement. So if we get 7% reduction that I have here, for example, this is equivalent to 150% enemy attack reduction stats. We can see that the effect is very similar with base attack, exactly as we said, 1% is around 1 and a bit more base attack decrease from the enemy. However, it is considered a bit worse than base attack because it applies only when specific troop types attack you. For example, in this weapon you can see that I have a reduction from enemy bowmen versus allied cavalry damage. So this reduction applies only when enemy bows attack my cavalries, and there are other stats also to reduce enemy spears damage against my cavalries. Your base attack increase applies when you attack any kind of troops, and that's why increasing your base attack is considered so much better. However, as we can see, the effect of the damage reduction is not even comparable to the other stats that you can get. The other stats are far low compared to the actual effect that damage reduction has, exactly because it applies directly to the damage and not just adds some stats that are very minor compared to the stats most people have reached already. Based on this, as I explained in my video for the weapon system, the first choice in weapons is to get increased base attack attributes, and then the next choice is to get the 2 damage reduction stats. I hope this video was helpful to understand more the mechanics of this stat, and do not hesitate to leave a comment with your opinion or any question. Thank you a lot for watching the video.